Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, I'm going to flush the coolant system and give an oil change to my 1995 Toyota Tacoma. So let's go do it. I bought this Prestone brand radiator flush and cleaner. If we flip it over, it'll give us the directions on how to use it. With the engine off and cool, drain the radiator. Please dispose of your radiator fluids properly. Pour contents into radiator and fill the rest with water. For heavy duty cleaning, drive a total of 3 to 6 hours of your normal daily driving conditions. Once cool, drain and refill with water. Run for 10 minutes with the heater on high. Once cool, drain the radiator, add enough Prestone concentrate antifreeze, 50-50 mixture with water, then you refill the radiator. So today all I'm going to do is flush it, put this in it, and then I'll be driving it to and from work over the next couple days. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but do you see the radiator hose coming out of the bottom of the radiator? I believe this to the left of it, to our left. We'll pull that out, drain it, and then we'll go from there. Sure enough, this little guy at the bottom of the radiator was the plug. You righty-tighty, lefty-loosey unscrew it, and then it drains the radiator fluid. Hopefully that's a 50-50 mix with 50% antifreeze, 50% water. And please dispose of it properly into a jug, canister, whatever you have. And then places like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, NAPA, they dispose of this for you. So we're letting that drain, and then we're going to put the Prestone in it and fill the rest up with water, and then drive on it for the next few days. Now the radiator has been drained, and I'm just going to take my regular old garden hose with a nozzle on it, set it to jet on this nozzle here, and spray out the radiator. Now I'm going to do the same thing to my coolant overflow, which mine is aftermarket. Apparently this thing had been in a wreck, and this is some homemade stuff here. What you do is you remove the line from your radiator, let it drain out of the bottom. Again, dispose of the liquid properly, and then we're going to flush that out with the hose. Now we are going to put the plug back, fill it up with this Prestone radiator flush and cleaner, and fill the rest up with water, and we're done with the radiator for about 3 days. 3 to 6 days it says on the instructions, and I might not get to it till after my work week, but that's all it takes to do this. So like I said, we're going to put the plug back in and fill it, put this whole bottle in there, and then fill the rest up with water. And don't forget about your radiator overflow. Now it goes without saying that I am in no way, shape, or form a mechanic. Try what I'm trying at your own risk. I don't make any recommendations. I'm just showing you what I'm doing to my truck. If it's helpful in any way, that's awesome. But like I said, I am not a mechanic. Never have been, never will be. So take what I do with a grain of salt. But like I said, you've been watching the video so far, it's obvious that I'm not a mechanic. So this past winter, my heater didn't work. I replaced the thermostat thinking it was it, still didn't work. So my friend Shane and I actually did a flush on my heater core, and it started working, but not for very long. So I'm going to do it again today because it's a nice day and I've got the hood open already, and I'm hoping that that'll just get me through another winter or two before I have to actually replace that heater core, because I really don't want to do that. So that's what I'm going to be doing next, is flushing the heater core. So here is the line into the heater core, and here is the line out of the heater core. So we're going to get to a point where we can put water in the in and have it come out the out, and then we're going to put some CLR in it and let it sit there and soak and hopefully take out any rust or any dirt, grime, whatever might be in there, and then hopefully that will unclog it and we'll have some heat this winter. It's June as we speak, so I won't be in need of it, of the heater that is, for a long time, but doing this right now, hopefully I won't have to do it in the dead of winter. I have disconnected both the in and the out. Here's the in. We'll be putting water in here, and it'll now just be coming out of this valve here because I removed the hose and put it to the side here. So again, we're going to be pushing water in and have it drain out. Again, dispose of this stuff properly. Try your best to keep the ground beneath you clean, and it won't hurt the environment or any little animals. Sorry, but I couldn't show you guys the actual flush of it. It needed both hands. But again, water in here, water out here. Now I've put some duct tape on this. I couldn't find a cap or anything, but I just want the CLR to sit in there. I don't want it to drain out. So again, I put some duct tape on it. I'm hoping it'll hold. There's my white trash fix right there. But then I'll put some CLR in and then let it sit there probably for about 30 minutes. And then I will release the duct tape and let it drain, and then do one more flush. While we let that sit for 30 minutes and hopefully break up any rust or any gunk that's in the system, in the heater core specifically, I'm going to walk down to the neighborhood convenience store, Friendly Fred's, and get an energy drink. I haven't had one today, and it is my lifeblood. I can't live without it, and I'm surprised I've got this much done today without one. But I'm going to head down to Friendly Fred's and get some Liquid Life. Just got done flushing the heater core and putting it all back together. Now I'm going to turn it on and let it idle with the radiator cap off and let it kind of bubble up, and I'll fill up the radiator as needed, seeing as how I lost radiator fluid, literally all of it, and filled it back up. It's going to need what's called burped, and I'm going to, again, do that by turning it on, letting it idle with the radiator cap off, and letting it kind of bubble out and flow through the system, and then I'll fill it up as it needs it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am all done with the radiator flush and the heater core flush. Got them both done. I'm happy with the way they both went. Not too complicated. Nothing bad happened. Our little house doesn't have a garage, and so I'm going to my older brother Jeremy's house, who lives about a mile from me is all, and he's got a whole huge shop, jack stands, the works. So I'm going to head over there to change the oil. So I got the truck up off the ground, a couple of jack stands, and now I'm going to go under. You release your oil valve bolt, and it releases all the oil that's currently in there. You want to get a drip pan and collect all that oil. You don't want a speck of it on the asphalt. Specifically when it's not my house, it's my older brother's. But you undo the oil bolt, it drains into the pan. You then also want to unscrew your oil filter, put it in the pan, because it's going to be full of oil as well. Get it completely drained, and then I'll show you what else I've got to kind of clean the oil system. So stay tuned. As you can see, I have my oil pan, my drip pan in position, and under here, I'm sorry if you can't see it, but this bolt right here is your oil bolt, your oil valve bolt, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure, again, there's a more technical name for it. I am not a mechanic, but then you release this bolt and the oil just comes streaming out of it. Now put your bolt back on. Here is the new oil filter, STP brand. I've never used them before for oil filters, but AutoZone was having a deal, so I got it and some oil and some oil treatment that I'll show you here in a minute. I'm going to take the old one off and put this new one on. Old engine oil filter is off and the new engine oil filter is on, and now you fill up your motor with some new oil, and this is Pennzoil high mileage 10W30. It's what my truck takes, and again I got to deal with it and the STP filter at AutoZone, so that's what I'm working with today. So let's go dump it into the motor. The deal at AutoZone also came with this oil treatment. I filled it about halfway up with oil. Now I'm going to dump this in and then fill the other half up with oil. And the oil change is done. It's really easy, guys. Now all we have left is cleanup. We've had that oil pan beneath, that drip pan. It's full of oil. What you then do is put it into your empty oil jug that you just used to fill it all up with, and then you take it again to a place like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, NAPA, just your car part store, and they typically dispose of that oil for you. So that's all that's left, and we'll get that done right now. So it has been 7 days since I put the radiator flush in. I've driven back and forth to work for 5 of those days. It's about 30 minutes to work, about 30 minutes back. And so the radiator flush said that they wanted me to drive on it for 3 to 6 hours. I drove on it for around there, in between there. And so now we're going to release the radiator plug, drain the fluid and the flush that's in there. You please, again, dispose of that properly, catch that and dispose of that properly, and then we'll fill it up with antifreeze concentrate, and then the other half of the radiator we're going to fill up with water to do a 50-50 mix. So that's what we're doing right now. Now we're going to put this hose in and give it a little flush. Now we're going to put the plug back in. I was a cheap ass this time and got some just cheap AutoZone brand coolant antifreeze. Now the radiator's full, the coolant overflow's full. What I'm going to do, some might call it burping it. Now it's not going to be a very hardcore burp, but you leave the radiator cap off and you start the motor and let the radiator the fluid kind of flow through the system, and it should kind of decrease the level of radiator fluid. You fill it back up, as well as it might bubble out of the radiator, and that's just getting the air out of your system. So I'm going to do that now. So everyone, that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.